The intrepid explorers discuss what strategy they should follow concerning the cave they are in. They decide to stay in the cave, but make preparations, both magical and mundane, in case they are attacked during the night. Their work was not in vain, as they are indeed attacked by gnolls during the dark of night. Some of the attackers are slain, and the rest flee. There is some debate of whether or not the party should attempt to follow the survivors. During the discussion, Fenris and Nash get into a skirmish after Fenris decides to cook and eat some gnoll flesh, but luckily Grimes manages to calm Nash down. The next day, the party rests while Grimes takes Nash on a patrol to calm him down. During the patrol, they spot another group of gnolls and return to camp to bring warning. As the party leaves their tent, they find there is no need to pursue the gnolls, as they have already arrived on their doorstep. A vicious battle ensues, during which Nash goes down and Fenris gets grievously injured. But the party ends up the victors, with all the gnolls slain. They have no choice but to stay in camp for a few days, while the injured recover enough to travel through the harsh land back to the fort. Will the party seal an alliance with the gnolls? Will they ever unlock marvelous sleigh technology? Will Fenris manage to taste test all the creatures in Caledonia? Let's find out now on Frozen Frontier.
Hello, everybody.
Now!
Welcome to the Frozen Frontier. How's it going, guys?
Oh, it's going good.
Good. It seems like it's been a while since we
Oh,
played. I
God.
know Sean and I played last week, but the
Yeah.
rest of you, God, how long has it been?
2
It's
weeks.
been 2 weeks, right? Yeah.
It feels like forever.
Yeah.
So what's up with you guys?
For me, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14. I blazed through Heaven's Word. Like, it's amazing because like the Realm Reborn storyline is gobshite. It's bad. And then you get to Heaven's Word, and it's just like a very sudden and very dramatic uphill for the writing quality, and like the pacing is better. Everything just got better about that game. And then I played Hackmaster for the first time yesterday.
Tell us about that. I'm very intrigued
Yeah.
to hear your tale of Hackmaster.
It's incredible. It's unplayable, but it's incredible. They had like a whole bunch of ideas for that game. Like a lot of stats will interact with each other. So like dexterity and intelligence both affect your base 2-hit bonus. So like having a high dexterity helps, but having a low intelligence to compensate won't help you in the end because you're going to get like a penalty to hit since you're not as smart as a fighter. And I had somebody roll up a fighter and they were like, "Oh, I'll be fine. I have 3 ints, but I'm playing a fighter, right?" And they had something like -4 to hit as their penalty at level 1, and that was like with all their bonuses and specialization and everything. It's brutal like that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, the real problem, it has a lot of like neat ideas. Oh, stream's lagging. I think it's still going though. I'm gonna keep going.
Stream's going.
Okay. It has a lot of neat ideas. Like HP got scaled up a lot, right? Like people are starting with like 30 HP at level 1. But weapons do more damage across the board. Armor reduces damage, but makes you easier to hit. And instead, you make like an active defense roll, kind of like an attack roll. So you like oppose each other in rolls whenever you're fighting. And the problem with that game is they have a threshold of pain system. So like if you take more than a third of your HP in damage, which is usually gonna be like 8 or 9 at level 1, you need to make a save or you just collapse from the pain for like 20 seconds or more.
Oh, yeah.
And the problem is like all the weapons do like 2d6 or 2d8 damage. So every time somebody gets hit, it's like, all right, I've got like a 50% chance of having to make a threshold of pain save. And
Right.
you know, like even if you have like 16 con, that's still like an 8 or lower on a d20. So even good stats don't really help you that much with it.
I like the idea of that, though. I think I remember hearing about the like concept of like hacking somebody's arm off and then like just continuing to fight on because D20 is weird. So they made a system to shock you out of that.
Yes, and it has improvements to it, but all of the there's so many new systems and it adds so much crunch that unless you really like crunch and you really like combat crunch, it's gonna grind the game to a halt. And it's just frustrating because there's so many things you have to keep track of, and everything's counted in seconds too. And it's like the number of seconds that somebody falls down to after failing their threshold of pain save is determined on how badly they failed. So like you might have to track that they're gonna wake up in 55 seconds, and then you have to like track that in the count up, and then like 55 seconds later.
Rounds?
No rounds. Everything is counted by seconds.
Huh.
And that's another fun thing because they have like movement in that game, right? And instead of moving like 30 or 100 feet in a round, you can move depending on whether you're like walking, jogging, running, or sprinting. They have all four. You have a movement rate that goes up to about 20 feet per second, and where it gets really fun, you can't go from like standing to sprinting. They require you to spend at least 1 second in either walking or jogging before you can go up to sprinting. So you have to like keep track of different movement rates and scale them up over time.
And the system is fun?
It's funny.
Do some weapons take like multiple seconds to attack?
No. So how it works is your weapon has like a speed. So if my weapon has a speed of 8 and I make an attack, I can attack again 8 seconds later.
Right.
But I can do other actions in the interim. So like I could attack somebody and then run around for 8 seconds and then attack again. But you have like that 8-second cooldown. It's like having a global cooldown time.
That's very interesting. That is an obscure system.
Yeah, I want to try out a game called RuneQuest, which also got rid of rounds in exchange for a little bit more like second-by-second gameplay. And apparently RuneQuest is much more of a game and a lot less just crunch-heavy simulator. It's a neat game, but like it also has like a healing. It goes on a wound system, so if you take multiple wounds, they all heal simultaneously. But getting an HP back takes a number of days equal to the like value of the wound. So if you take an 8 hit point wound, it takes 8 days to recover 1 HP from that. And the problem there is like all the weapons do 2d6 or 2d8 again. So every time somebody gets injured, you're looking at like a month until they're healed. And you really got to play the game slower.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, no, I figure that might be your kind of thing. They also nerfed clerics, so like having a cleric doesn't instantly heal you up, but you will heal faster with one in a party. It's I don't know. It's interesting, but the game will like grind down to a halt. But if you apparently it gets better if you play it for longer. So if people want to take the time to learn it, let me know how it goes.
Well,
I like the fact that essentially your review of this game is like it's really interesting, and I had like enjoyed parts of it. Not really a game.
I love it. I kind of want to buy the book because I love it so much. It's like a parody of D&D, right? And the authors just did not give a shit when they wrote it. They have like a box at the front of the book called like frame rub signatures. And it says you can rub your dice on these, collects like signatures of game designers and other lucky people so that you can rub your dice on them to make them lucky in an emergency.
That's great. That is
beautiful.
great.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing and I love it, but it's unplayable.
Well, what have the rest of you guys been up to?
Not having nearly as much fun as Sean. I don't know. Another quarter. Summer's off.
Another quarter already. Wow.
Yeah, I'm teaching this summer, so the grind never ends. Enjoying the Northwest summer. Solstice a couple days ago, so it's like 10 p.m. sunsets.
Oh, that's nice.
Went out for a hike. Got a nice sunburn first of the year.
Isn't it 90 over there right now?
It probably got close to it yesterday.
God,
not
we're
quite.
sitting at like 93 today. This is brutal.
No.
Yeah, it was hot here in
Seattle's the place to be.
Like in Portland, it was essentially 99.
Hey Alexa, what's the weather today?
Oh man, I can't wait to go on to them. It's so much fun.
I think she's at 82.
This is why I think California is the best.
God, the future is weird.
You get all the tech industry near you, and it's always warm, but it's never ridiculously hot.
Ryan, have you tried playing? You can play like an RPG on Alexa. Have you tried that?
I haven't. What's the command?
I can't remember what it is, but you say like, do you want to play a
after this.
game or something like that? And then she says like,
I put on my robe and wizard hat.
before you was a crossroads, like to the left is a church, to the
11
right
games
is
you
a...
can play with Alexa.
Yeah, it's pretty
Wow.
sweet.
I'm excited now.
Oh, maybe we should do an Alexa stream with Ryan and Alexa.
Right. Be a better DM than you, Neal.
It could be.
Ooh.
I could be
As long as we
replaced.
get a
Could be
webcam on Alexa just the entire time.
Guys, they have rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
We could put her on like a little Roomba and just have like a camera following her around the room. All right. What about you, Nick? What's life like for you in the UK?
Pretty good. Well, there's that big fire thing that went on. I don't know if you guys read about that. It's pretty,
Oh, it's all over the news.
That's
Oh, really?
That was in London, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not really near me.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I mean, it's been a pretty bad few weeks for England, really, in terms of... Because we kind of avoided all of the terrorism stuff for a long time, and then it's all kind of come along at once, and then there's this fire as well. But aside from that, my house sale is about to go through, so I'm looking at a few more weeks, I think, until we move. I got promoted at work,
Congrats.
so it's all coming up Millhouse.
Is that a new expression there, over there?
I don't know. Some of my friends say I thought it was off The Simpsons.
Oh, Millwall. Never mind. I was.
No, all right, no.
It's all coming up Millwall. No.
And I bought that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds game. If anyone in chat wants to, I don't know. If anyone in chat plays it, but I'm trying to convince Neal to get it.
Unlikely to happen.
He's so.
You know,
awkward, man.
I just one game at a time, man.
Yeah,
last
I'm the same,
300
but-
hours have been XCOM 2, Long War 2, and I can't pick up a new game until I put this one down. And it'll take another few hundred hours for that, so
Nice.
hit me up in a few months.
You'll be done just in time for Ingman.
I'm already trying to get you
Ooh.
to play CK2, so that's higher on my list. You like CK2?
And then there was the game that you guys were playing together. I can't remember what it was called, where you're like
Neverwinter Nights.
Yeah.
Or no,
Oh, yeah.
Chaos Reborn.
There's a
Chaos
bunch of them.
Reborn. I'd recommend that one. That like if we got a bunch of people together, that game would be. We did like 1-2v2 in that game, and it was kind of wild. I can imagine if you got like a 4v4 going or like an 8-person free for all, that game would be just insane.
Oh, can you do that? 8-person free for all? That sounds good.
I think the rooms open up to at least 8.
Nice.
All right, well, let's move on. Greg,
Yes.
how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm kind of boring, I guess, compared to all of y'all. I just work and go to the gym and play D&D stuff. I've been streaming Persona. I'm getting close to the end of that. I put 140 hours in Persona so far, and I'm still not done.
I heard it's a long one.
It is long. And the funny thing about, okay, so you can definitely play it faster than I am because I read every line of text and I like using silly voices, so it takes a while. But
Very nice.
it is like not a game you can cheat, right? Like in Final Fantasy, if you just want to finish that fucker, you can, right? Like you can just beeline it. This game like legitimately is based on a calendar, so you have to you choose what you do each day, but you have to go through each day of the calendar. Like I don't know if you can finish that game really, really short. I say that, and then someone in my chat was telling me that the like official speedrun time is like 18 hours. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm gonna be 10 times that. But yeah, I mean, I've been digging around with different campaign ideas. My 5e campaign is gonna close up here soon, so trying to think of what I want to run next. I've been thinking up a shenanigans character.
Oh, the Pimp Imp?
Gonna be
The
good.
Pimp Imp, yes.
I am
Yes.
excited for the Pimp Imp.
I'll have to join shenanigans as a player instead of a DM one of these days, and have some Pimp Imp.
Wow. It'd be fun to see an all Frozen Frontier cast for shenanigans, rather than playing serious characters and trying to accomplish real things. Just a total shit show of you guys running around with a Pimp Imp and
I'll bring John back for that one.
exciting. Well, let's roll into game then. So we've all heard the recap. You guys are hanging out in the woods south of Nash's Cave. It's not really Nash's Cave, but that's what we're calling it for now. With the plan of trying to thin out some of these null numbers before you try and take on their lair,
I
right?
think the plan right now was to rest because we've waited for 3 days and I went up to 9 HP, but I'm still below 10 and only at half. And I think Ferris was wanting to rest up for a couple of more days.
Okay.
I don't think we can sit here for weeks on end waiting for you to rest up.
I know Grimes can't.
If we sit here for
I need a
3
fidget
more days,
spinner.
I'll be nearly full.
I'm not gonna sit here for 4 days. Like
three.
I'm not gonna sit here for 3 days. We've sat here for 3 days. You've had your 3 days, right? If you don't want to get in the thick of combat, that's fine. What we really should do is ambush some gnolls, right? Like if we can lead them where we want them to go, if we can get the advantage on one of these, you can just sit back and bow fire and then run. All right, like I don't mind.
Well, as long as you're fine with me not partaking in melee.
What's your plan, Yaramir? How do we ambush these gnolls?
Well, plan is quite. I have many ideas. First and foremost, we know they hunt by cave. We could attempt ambushing hunting party. Other opportunities is fire will lead eyes, correct? We know they are hunting us. We know that they are looking for us. If we can create a campfire that's large enough to draw eyes, and then hide away from campfire, perhaps set up a tent over there, and put little rocks in it so approximate people, right? We can draw a hunting party to there, and then we attack when they come. Also, potential idea I have is I use jump spell on you again. We create tracks through snow leading to place we wish to ambush them. And then you jump away so as to not lead tracks other places. When gnolls follow tracks, we ambush them from afar. Also, we could discover where bodies are. We moved them somewhere, covered up in snow. Or when we kill more gnolls, we use their bodies to put on sticks, hang from trees. When gnolls find bodies, when wolves smell out the bodies, then we attack.
My only concern though
I
is
think we're offline. Sorry, I
Nope.
didn't mean to interrupt.
Stream should be totally fine.
It's offline. I'll double check. I might be wrong. Oh, yep, no, never mind. It just stopped on me randomly. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but I thought we went off for a second.
Cool.
That's right. My only concern is that we've already defeated a few hunting parties of these gnolls. Do you really think they'd be stupid enough to send out another small party? If we make a huge fire, maybe they come with their full force.
Excellent. Then let us pick off weaker members and then run away like chicken shits. Then do it again. It's not about wiping out all of gnolls in one go. It's about weakening them. Make them bleed. Make them fearful. Then we can kill them.
But we don't really want to kill them all, do we? The point here is to enslave them. If we kill them all, then they're no use to us as an ally, and this whole thing has been for nothing.
We have no friends from other tribe. If we do not slay these, then we have new enemies. I thought point was to slay these people and
Kill
give
Bokassa's
gift of
group.
land back to other tribe.
I thought the plan was to kill Bokassa and then have the rest of his group submit to Nash's
That could be
leader.
fine, but we're going to need to kill more gnolls before we go for Bokassa.
Other possibility is create large enough distraction that a large group go to distraction and then we attempt to fight Bokassa while
That
he
could work.
has less people around him.
Or a
How much-
quiet operation to sneak in and kill him without arousing any suspicion from his
How
followers.
much honor does this Bukasa have? If we were to challenge him to a duel, do you think he would?
He is
Accept.
chaotic evil, no. I don't believe he has honor.
I believe
Grimes.
he was a
Ask Nash.
kinslayer, is he not? Killed one of his own family.
Yes, he's a kinslayer. I don't expect he has much in the way of honor. And I don't expect that extends to us no-furs.
Still, though, if we challenge his authority in front of his pack,
That's a gamble, one I wouldn't want to risk my life on.
well, I think we should go with a big fire then. And the ambush, that seems to be the best plan. It's better than, I think, footprints in the snow is too subtle.
Well then, let us find perfect place for ambush. We will want to have good cover for bowmen and archers. We will need to have a place of easy escape should the battle go wrong way. We shall want to be unseen, perhaps downwind from sniffing noses of dogmen. And let us search for ideal location. Then perhaps wait for appropriate time to build large campfire and put tent up, and then we hide. Wait,
I live in the forest.
Ars, you agree with this? You agree with this plan?
You're the boss.
Very well. If I'm not going to heal for longer, I'll be staying out of the melee. As long as you're fine with that, then I have no opposition.
I think we should do this in the morning because we're not going to want to spend night outside our tent. So I think we should, if we're going to set the tent up and use that as bait, we're not going to be in it, which means that we don't want to be doing this at night. Right?
wait, is the night any more dangerous than the day?
Yes,
Cold-wise?
right?
No, we had talked about it, but have not implemented it mechanically.
Yeah, so if
Correct.
we just stay in the tent most of the day, or like we just keep watches and shit, we'll be warm.
All right.
And
Yeah,
then,
I thought the night was
yeah.
colder.
I mean, you might want to do it closer to like dusk so we can see. But
Well, if the fire's big enough, we might be able to see anyway.
yeah, I mean that's kind of the idea, right?
All right.
But like light would be the only thing I would think about.
So, were there any survivors of our last skirmish?
No.
Not the last one, but when they ambushed us, most of them got away.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I recall, there's like a mass knoll grave in a ditch somewhere near our campsite, correct? Probably now covered with snow.
I think you guys dragged the bodies
Yeah,
a
we
ways away
dropped them
from
off
your
a little
campsite.
like ledge, but then
I
we
think
had a
there's-
blizzard, so I think they got buried.
So I think
Yeah.
they're in a ravine somewhere. So
Yes. Today is a moderately breezy day. Reducing your mobility and covering up any tracks that might be lying around fairly quickly.
maybe a good day to get out and about. At some point, I'd like to ask Nash what his take is on the situation. Do you if the scouting party does not return, do you expect that Bokassa will send out more in search of us?
Nash
Will they
chews
wait?
his lip
Will they
for a
lick their
moment
wounds?
while he considers.
What would your pack do if 6 went missing, did not return?
Missing is difficult. Huh? The blizzards come. People get distracted. Missing takes long time out here before is known for sure. Knolls go missing in a few days. Maybe just got stuck. Maybe find good catch of seals and bring back slowly. Who knows? Might not be missing yet.
Ask him what he thinks about the plan. Right?
I don't know how to ask that. I exchanged some pleasantries with Nash, but I in Grimes' mind, I don't think Nash is a reliable strategic consultant in such matters.
Well, in lack of a Null's opinion, I say we try the fire, maybe 1 or 2 days, but if it doesn't work, I think we should just go closer to the cave. See
What
if
if
we
we-
can't find scouting parties.
We could set up a decoy tent or something.
Do we
Yeah.
have 2 tents?
No,
Yeah.
we could drape some furs in a tent-like fashion and make it look
Cool.
like a more elaborate campsite than our actual campsite.
Well, and keep it going for a bit longer.
Keep what going.
Well, the ruse. Because I think we should only really attempt this for a day or 2 before we move forward. Regardless, let's see if we can find a location for an ambush. I guess
Come on, Nash.
we'll pack up the
Take
tent.
a walk.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Do we pack up? I think we should find a location. I mean, we don't necessarily need to pack up our tent, although we should probably move it and hide it, conceal it, or something.
Well, I carry it. It's all right.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right. You guys pack up your gear, and you're just going to look for a good ambush spot?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
maybe a nice clearing that's on like a low ground or something.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could get kind of the high ground advantage on them for once, and kind of be able to shoot down on them. Have maybe some outcroppings for cover, a nice kind of clearing in the forest, perhaps that would look like a campsite that we might choose.
But not a very good one. Maybe one with like a ravine, maybe with like walls, a murder pit, if you will.
Yeah.
A ravine with walls and a murder pit.
Well,
I hear ya.
yeah.
I have a few battle maps, and I'll just pick one of the ones that I have. Be
All right.
your spot. Walls, ravine, murder pit.
I mean, the whole thing is really a murder pit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's implied by the walls in the ravine.
Okay, so we've used this map before, but I think this is going to be the best one for us. Let's zoom out a little bit. As the
Oh God, I'm
assets
so
load.
zoomed in.
Yeah.
This one tree is taking up my entire map.
Yeah, that always happens to me.
This looks good though.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I remember this one.
This is the beachhead or something. Where our
Yeah,
very
this
first
is like
battle.
the first null battle that we had.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is kind of a good.
So like round about here looks all right, right?
Yeah.
That way I
But-
could stand on the ramp.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take this big bundle of furs that I've been lugging around and use it to make a fake tent.
All
I mean,
right.
I guess it could be a real tent, but are these-
Where do you want to set up this tent?
I'm gonna need something to lash it to. I would think. Are these trees or bushes or something?
What about-
those are snow-covered bushes.
So I think I probably need to use them
What
as a
about
structure.
this big old tree down here?
not really-
Ping it again.
That's kind of out in the open, though, right?
Right,
That
we
leaves
want
a
it
big
out in the open, right? And then
that's
we'll
out.
have people kind of like protected along these areas, right? And we can fire on them from either side.
I was thinking more like build a tent up here,
Yeah, that's what I was
and then we can be on these cliffs, on the ledges, sort of overlooking.
thinking. And we can set up our tent behind that rock. Like
Okay, I don't think there's anything to lash it to over there.
Those are bushes
What are
that I've
these?
lashed it between.
Well, how? I mean, are these bamboo bushes?
No,
When
but
I
I
think
can.
of bush, I don't think of like something really strong and that's gonna hold up to pressure.
So I'll probably. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if it works,
figure this out
you
in
can hang
character.
really heavy furs in a tent-like fashion around it. Like, go ahead.
I was thinking to like go chop down a small tree and run a pole, something like that, across the length of those bushes. Maybe I could even use these stumps instead, and then drape furs over them to look like some sort of tent-like dwelling.
You guys
Shelter.
have time, and you have rope. What's the total length of rope you have with you?
I've got 25 feet. I think I gave Nick 25 feet as well.
I have
Yeah.
4 lengths of silver wire.
24.
I have a shit ton of stone arrows.
Okay.
Just a
But you've got
monstrous amount of stone
two
arrows.
25-foot lengths of rope.
Yes.
Considering that this distance is 15 feet, that basically gives you 2 sections of rope to work with. So you can cut down a tree and try and string up, something that comes from one bush to the other and attaches to the tree in the middle, and then something goes from a stump to the tree to the other stump. And then you have furs that you can haul out over here from your previous camp and just, drape them over this and do your best to make it work. Not too difficult, especially if you leave the branches on a tree. It'll kind of form a natural canopy. Probably good to someone, probably looks decent from a distance, but someone getting close to it might see that something is amiss.
It's a mess, just that it's a stinky pile of seal hides and not a nice tent.
Yeah, well, if you're draping these kind of seal hides over this weird structure, it's not going to be like a nice tight, angled tent. It's going to be kind of floppy and a little awkward.
Yeah, but it
Tents
could
have
be an
nice
improvised tent.
Yeah.
And these are knolls. I don't know that they'll have the same sort of standards of.
Well, yeah, and if you let's assume that they approach from the ramp and they see the back of the tent with the fire on the other side, right? They might think if they think it's a shitty tent, maybe they think it's a like tannery or something we got going on.
Maybe. So yeah, and then I think the other part of the plan will be just massive bonfire like there or something.
Don't forget though, we've got to we can't spend all day working and then all night staying up because we'll start to really lose warmth points. We need to start if we're going to stay up.
You can recover warmth while you're awake.
Yeah, but we're not going to be by a fire and we're not going to be in the tent, and if we're not going to be by the
so
fire
maybe we spend a day setting up, we create our tent, we get ready, we rest a night, and then the next day we set our plan in motion.
I think that's a safer idea.
Okay. So it's going to take you guys, let's say it takes you an hour to find this place. It's moderate weather. So, Nick, why don't you roll me d6 plus 3 for the total mileage your party can go today? 4? Okay. So if the new camp is a mile away, it's not too difficult to haul all your stuff out there. If you need to go back and pick things up and head back out here, that's going to be 3 miles total. So it takes you the better part of the day to do this. It's slow going. The winds are really rough, and with the frost last night, there's like a thin sheet of frozen ice over all the snow, so you keep breaking through it, making your movement pretty rough. Let's say it takes you maybe like 5 or 6 hours to get all this stuff set up, so that's going to be 15 warmth points you all take to prepare this.
Yeah, and then I think we've got to spend tonight actually in the tent with a fire.
Yeah, and then we'll try this scheme tomorrow.
We'll get the fire ready tomorrow.
We could also. Is our tent really going to be this close to the actual? Do we feel confident that we can conceal a tent up in where they drew it, Neal?
Well, that's a pretty high cliff, and those are some decently sized trees.
And we can even drag some other trees to the other side, and
with the moderate winds and the snow being picked up from it, you're going to get a nice thin layer of snow all over your tent.
Okay.
So this will probably be a pretty good situation. Grimes, would you please make me a perception check?
We're being watched.
31.
Excellent. So, while you are going back to your previous campsite to drag some furs back, because I think you guys actually are near some encumbrance issues, you spot off in the distance what seems to be a few little things moving. What'd you roll? You rolled a 31? Okay. You can actually make out the details. You spot a small troop of kobolds, maybe a half mile off.
It's just Nash and myself, I believe, right?
Yes.
How far off?
About a half mile off.
Which direction? North, south, east, west?
South. Southeast.
So is it between me and the ambush site, or like off in the woods?
It's off on a different direction.
How many can I spot from here?
Well, you did roll a 31, so you count 8 kobolds.
What do you think, Nash? Want to hunt some kobolds?
Pitiful creatures! They are not worth Nash's time!
Fair enough.
They are scum of the earth.
So I guess we'll return to the ambush site to tell the party what we've seen. Though Grimes did have the thought to chase these kobolds down and deal with them ourselves.
Okay.
So at some point I report with the hides for the tent and report that there were kobolds sighted.
Why did you not chase these kobolds down and deal with them yourself?
Probably for the same reason you are acting like little bitch and don't want to go fight.
Kobolds are pitiful creatures. They're not worth my time.
Attempt to stand in melee with mine.
That's good.
So where is this ambush site compared to our tent? or our
A mile
to our
away.
cave.
About a mile. But before the sea cave.
Yeah. Or maybe can we go to the big map just for a second, just to like figure out where all these things are in relation to each other?
Quite a way, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. Let's take a look. And now we have to
It's a
zoom
cool
way in.
Travel.
Okay. So your previous camp was about 3 miles from the cave. So your new camp is about 2.5 miles from the cave. 2 miles from the cave.
Oh, did we go back in the cave's direction?
Yes, you moved in the cave's direction.
Okay.
So I would have probably seen those kobolds were like in the open tundra out here to the south.
The kobolds were near the edge of the open tundra, kind of like skirting along the edge of the woods, and you were just deeper into the woods.
Okay.
They weren't watching you, were they, Grimes?
No, I don't think we were spotted.
I don't think we need to worry about it then.
So as you guys finish up the camp for the day and get ready to bed down, I want to check in with Yaromir. You have been a little antagonistic towards Ferris lately. Is there a
It
reason
was
for
not
that?
I made one comment off of cuff.
Fair enough. So there's no bad blood that's developed between the two of you.
No, actually, okay, so I guess rather than having a like deep dive into the monologue of Yaromir, I think what you really see is Yaromir kind of contemplating as he kind of looks at Ferris, and Ferris is obviously a person of interest to him. And he was a little mean to Ferris earlier, and perhaps that comment was uncalled for. But he really wants to get inside Ferris's headspace and kind of extract all of the things that he's seen over a very long lifetime. This is not Yaromir's first interaction with a half-elf. And in fact, he has quite an interest in elves in general. This was something back in his far past that he cared about. And so he's jumped on the opportunity to always be talking with Ferris. He kind of thinks back to bunking with him and drawing on or etch-a-sketching his face when they first met. And Yaromir is an odd duck at this point, at 30 years old, having lived the life he's lived. He doesn't necessarily have the best ways of showing it, but he's actually very, very interested in becoming more friendly. He kind of thinks back to his interaction with him over the weather. That wasn't so much telling Ferris he was shit at reading the weather. It was trying to glean like how Ferris operates, how he views the world through the eyes of a creature touched by the arcane. Because I too seem to be touched by the arcane, and in my own weird way, I'm trying to bond with the crazy half-elf that hates me and might want to eat me. We're not sure.
How do you feel about the humanoid eating? Is that bother Yaromir?
It's not the first time I've probably seen such a thing. I've traveled across many lands in my 30 years, having fled my hometown to where I am now today. Odd cultures are kind of what I seek out and find. I find that the normal culture of society and their cities and their walls doesn't suit me. I seek out the little bit more obscure and strange, because their ideas and their beliefs, their folklore, their arcanology more closely resembles what I see tattooed on myself and have experienced in my life. I'm put off by it because Yaromir is not a cannibal, but it's not necessarily overly shocking. It's probably
kind of like a morbid curiosity.
Yes.
Cool. So you have set up your camp, you've set up your ambush site, you guys go down to sleep for the night. Are you still taking your normal watches?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Do you let Nash take a watch, or do you keep someone awake to make sure that Nash doesn't?
Always keep somebody awake around Nash.
Yeah, I think we can take 4 watches throughout a night, no problem.
Yeah.
So,
Part of the watch duty is watching Nash.
yeah.
Okay. Excellent. All right, we're going to go and take our first break of the stream, and when we come back, we will see how this ambush works and if anyone runs into it. So see you guys on the other side. Bye bye.
So yeah.